My earliest memory of being interested in science, I think I was about 8 and I was at primary school, and we actually had science as a subject in my primary school. It was taught by a headmaster. And I don't really remember anything I studied, but I do remember, I really distinctly remember him putting the exam marks up at the end of term because we had exams. And they went up on a board in a list. And he said, "Oh, you did really well, Helen." And I looked and it said I had 14, and I started crying, and I thought it was dreadful that he thought I'd done well and I got 14. And I cried to my mum. My mum went to see him and said, "Helen's really upset she got 14. And he said, "She didn't get 14, she got 94. And then I felt really happy, and I thought, oh, I'm quite good at this. I got 94 out of 100, and therefore, you know, I don't know, it just set me on the path. It's something I enjoyed, I was good at it, and I think I just took off from there, really. My dad's an engineer, and my mum's a teacher of maths. Or no, they're both retired, but that's what they did. I was actually the first person in my family at all ever to go to university. So nobody had a strong science background, although we were much more sciencey and mathsy in our house than we were artsy, probably, yes. My dad used to work in London, and when we were little, we used to go up every holiday. We used to go in the car with him to work, and his office was right near Oxford Street, and then we used to always go somewhere. So we would go to Madame Tussauds or Tower of London. But we used to often be given a choice, and we went to Greenwich Museum, and we stood with our feet on each side of the Meridian. And I can remember going to the Science Museum and the Natural History Museum. So yeah, we got taken to lots of places. I was really lucky. My dad had worked when he was younger at Marconi's, and when I got to do like a work experience at school when I was 16, we were allowed to try and ask parents or friends if they had any connections, and my dad managed to get me and 3 of my friends from school to go and do our work experience at Marconi Research Centre. And when I was there, the people I was working with were like, "Well, you know, we could give you a summer job." And they gave me a summer job, and they gave me a little project. Completely changed my view of what I wanted to do, and I had all those people around me really encouraging me and pushing me towards science in a positive way. So definitely that was a huge influence. I was quite sporty, so I did a lot of gymnastics until I was a bit older. I danced. You might not know it to look at me now, but I did ballet. I was really into ballet. I think if I'd had the chance, I would have gone to ballet school instead of becoming a scientist. I had friends who did that. And I loved dancing and swimming. I did hockey. But I also loved music. I used to play trombone, sang in a choir. Definitely, I was very much into lots of different things. I had some brilliant science teachers, and I had 1 or 2 awful science teachers who I would love to go back to and smile at now. But you know, I had some brilliant science teachers actually. I was in an all-girls school, so actually quite interestingly, the 2 teachers that immediately come to mind are the male chemistry teacher and the male physics teacher. And I'm going to say their names because they were brilliant. There was a guy called Mr. Cahill who was our chemistry teacher. Actually, we also had a chemistry teacher called Mrs. Hall. She was pretty amazing as well. And we had a physics teacher called Mr. Braithwaite, and they were all really influential teachers that encouraged us. At secondary school, I can definitely remember, especially in physics, experiments that never worked. You know, that was always the thing. Or you had this stuff called ticker tape, and it was a tape and a little machine sort of made punched holes in it. And it was especially one of those experiments you used to do where you sent toy cars down a ramp to find out about acceleration and velocity. And I don't think they have ticker tape anymore at school, but it was great. You used to measure all these pieces of ticker tape and get all the numbers out. And I do remember doing those types of experiments, yeah. I was very lucky actually, being in a girls' school, we were encouraged to do science and to keep doing science. And I think certainly at school level, no one discouraged me from doing it, no.